Daniel Day-Lewis is back somehow. TMNT notes from the class Megalopolis, more like Megaflopolis.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Late for shows.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And
Who is that? Who the hell is that?
I'm your host, Outrageous Tyler.
Yeah, who the hell is that over there?
That's not Tyler. That's Matt Smith donning a 6 foot tall mohawk. But that is actually from his upcoming movie, Darren Aronofsky's new movie.
Yeah.
Starring Matt Smith and Austin Butler, I believe.
Yeah. Second week in a row we're talking about Aronofsky on this show.
Is it?
Last week you compared it to Brian Tambouri's
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Plan B. The fundraising efforts, at least.
Yeah. The plot of the movie, I don't know about the parallels there, but but here we are once again, classmates. We have a great show for you today. Welcome everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise, and of course the OG classmates listening in podcast land.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and as you can see, actually Tyler is not present for this.
No, he's not. He had obligations today, and he let us know ahead of time. So I'm not going to trash him.
Even if it was like 30 minutes
That's okay.
ahead of time.
That's
It
okay.
was ahead of time.
it would technically check the box.
Yeah.
Box was checked. We weren't just sitting here like, what's happening to Tyler? Where is he?
No, it wasn't like last week.
Yeah. Yeah, and last week we had have some comments, from the class. Jack from Let's Crash This Parade. Mm-hmm. He left a comment on our live stream that said, right at the start of the intro, it's like, I'm going to be late for class, to the image of two hosts and a missing Tyler.
Who then proceeds to arrive late.
Yeah, in the middle of the interview. It was great. on brand.
Yeah, and it's we're breaking records here in Northern California. It's the 100-degree days in October.
What
and
the fuck?
The leaves aren't turning.
I know. What is happening? It's so hot
I
all
know.
the time.
I'm still wearing shorts.
I am too. I know.
But we have, but you know what we do have? We have movies.
Yes, we got plenty of movies.
Movies like the movie of the week that will wrap us in a cozy blanket, like Tiptoes.
Oh my god.
That
I can't wait to talk about Tiptoes later.
Are always there to keep us warm and
It's
cozy.
I know. That's what I love about movies. It's like visiting an old friend. Tiptoes.
Yeah, Tiptoes.
I can go back
friend.
and rewatch it as many times as I want, and Gary Oldman will still be just as offensive.
Yeah. And Peter Dinklage is French.
Yeah. That sure is an accent.
Yeah. He's doing an impression of a French person.
Yeah, that's right. That's what acting is.
Yeah. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get into some gab and chatter.
Find some charity, you lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
Gab and chatter, movie news, movie things to discuss that are movie related, maybe.
Yeah.
Pete, what do you have?
Okay, so before I get into news stories and a note from the class about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I want to address our voicemail.
Oh, yes. It's been a situation.
There's been things have happened.
Things have been discovered.
Yeah, so Tyler's been begging the classmates to leave a voicemail on, and the voicemail is something that Tyler created on his own. He decided, I want a voicemail line so the classmates can call in and just leave us a voicemail. We play it on air, and that's that.
Yes,
pretty straightforward.
He manages it.
It's his
More
cross
or
to
less.
bear. Yeah, he pays for the week. Well, so we thought was paying for the monthly fee, and when he gets a new voicemail, he'll send it over to me, and then we put it on the board. We play it, and on last episode, he said, it's been 365 days since I got the last voicemail. Please call in.
Yeah.
Begging.
A little coincidental there. I think.
Yeah, it is. And so we got an email from Dallas, who was on the show not last week, but the week before.
For Grizzly Man.
Yeah, he was our Patreon pick, a Grizzly Man from Dallas, and he came out and did a call in. It was great. I love having Dallas on the show. And he said, hey, I sent you a voicemail. I tried to, and someone answered. Someone picked up and they said, hello. So we replied and just said, oh, that's just Tyler. He does that sometimes. He forgets about the voicemail. And I mean, to his credit, if it's happening once a year, I can understand why. I get that.
You see a number ringing,
A random number, and
and you
just
just like answer it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but I was a little curious because I thought when I try to call when he's running late for the show, I don't get no answer.
Yeah, it doesn't even answer
So I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
a call that goes directly to his phone.
So Dallas says, okay, I'll call again. He calls again. And this time someone else answers and he goes, hello, I'm trying to leave a message for the podcast. And the guy goes, I don't know what you're talking about, and hangs up on him. So,
Poor Dallas. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I know. Dallas is like, where's the Dallas drop I got here?
Somehow.
The voicemail doesn't work. Yeah, no. And so we grilled Tyler about it, and it turns out he hasn't been paying the bill. So we don't have a working voicemail.
The guy seems so pissed. I'm sorry, Dallas.
I know. The guy on the other line, enraged that he's getting random calls in the middle of the night.
Stop calling me.
I know. So I was like, maybe I should call and find out it's Tyler. I was like, nah, this is Tyler's thing.
Yeah.
We'll let him figure it out. And he doesn't 100% know, but he thinks he just stopped paying the bill.
Yeah, the number was taken. Like it was taken away from us.
Yeah.
So don't if you want to leave a voicemail, or maybe you have been leaving voicemails and just been getting this guy who's been pissed off at you.
I know, he's like, who's this goddamn podcast? Who are these classmates? But yeah, sorry for whoever owns 209-730-6010 because we've been doxing them for like a year.
Yeah, what area code is that? Is that
That's Stockton.
Stockton?
It's just south of here. Yeah.
Okay.
Stockton and all the way down into parts of the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah. So poor bastards.
So I don't know if we're gonna get it up and running again. I
We'll
guess
leave it up to
see.
Tyler. We'll
Yeah.
see. So so I wanted to read a message from the class, from listener Steven, the Maple Syrup Don from Saskatchewan. Steven. He's our Canadian delegate from the Great White North, and he's a avid Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. So much so that we're friends on Facebook, and he's basically said, hey, if any of my friends in the out of state or out of the country can find these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys, these specific ones at Target, let me know. I'll ship them to you. Or, I'll have you ship them to me. And I'll pay you for it. And I've done that for Mitch as well. The guy bought some Funko Pop Jurassic Park toys and shipped them to him because they were American only, and he's also Canadian. And so I was curious how Steven was going to take our rapid takedown, our unabashed hatred for.
Well, I didn't hate it.
No, you did. You did. It wasn't that bad. I re-listened to it, and I wasn't as harsh in hindsight. So first off, Steven says, wow, Tyler and I are about to fight.
A lot of vitriol for Tyler recently.
I know. It's all in love.
Yeah.
Tyler's like the little brother that we got like to pick on. So he says, hold on a second. I got real words for you guys. First off, every one of the turtles would kick Poe's ass, the panda from Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he says. Then he says, honestly, an amazing episode. Minus every single word that came out of Tyler's mouth. I love him to bits, but geez, we need to wrestle. Wow. From shitting on Jack Nicholson, the best Joker, to ripping my turtles apart. So, Turtle comics were super duper dark. The cartoon totally changed the characters for obvious reasons. And then he gave us the rundown of which color is which because we couldn't figure it out. Originally, all the turtles were red, but the OG comics were in black and white anyways. So they were super violent, killing street punks and this and that, murdering Shredder. It's great. The movie holds a special place with me, of course. I was 9 when I saw it and absolutely was in love. Head over heels. I had the graphic novels and the cartoon was a favorite of mine. And of course, all the toys. I still collect figures and merch. My favorite is Michelangelo in almost every rendition, but Donnie is a close second in the movie. Part 2 and 3 kind of suck in my opinion, and that's based off the fact that they were 100%, they went 100% the kid route. Mikey actually uses pepperoni sticks at one time instead of nunchucks. If you guys enjoyed Mutant Mayhem, I highly recommend checking out TMNT 2012 from Nickelodeon. It's a show, but it's phenomenal and the best version of the Turtles going. Plus, the animation really is great. Be on the lookout for the R-rated Last Ronin movie coming out soon. It's live action and it will be very bloody. The story's great and I shall say no more due to heavy spoilers. Keep on rocking in the free world and love the show as per usual. Your friend and loyal listener, the Maple Syrup Don, Steve Alangelo. Love that. And then he said he had the soundtrack for the movie when he was a kid. It was a cassette tape, and each tape had a different color for the different turtles.
Yeah.
He also named his dog after Casey Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks, Steven. Appreciate that, buddy. Okay, on to my actual news story. Our most beloved Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes.
He's back.
He is back.
He's back. So in 2017, he decided he was going to end his acting career during his press tour for Phantom Thread from Paul Thomas Anderson. Quote, "All my life, I've mouthed off about how I should stop acting, and I don't know why it's different this time. But the impulse quite took a root in me. That became a compulsion," he told W Magazine. "It was something I had to do." So
His whole life?
That's what he said.
I should stop acting.
All my life, I've mouthed off about how I should stop acting.
Even before he started?
Yeah.
I should really stop.
You know, this thing I really care about and love, I should stop.
Yeah.
Before I even get going. So
I think we've only reviewed one Daniel Day-Lewis movie on this show, right?
There Will Be Blood.
Right? He hasn't been anything else we've reviewed.
No. Haven't done Last Mohicans. Didn't do My Left Foot.
Or Phantom Thread.
Didn't do Phantom Thread. No.
Or
haven't done Lincoln.
Or The Crucible.
No, The Crucible. No Crucible. I have a few of those movies on physical media and I haven't watched them yet, like The Crucible.
Yeah, I watched that in English class because we were reading The Crucible.
I feel I get that mixed up with The Scarlet Letter.
Oh, so it's similar type of story, I guess.
I don't know. So anyways, he's coming back, and the project he's coming back for is something that he co-wrote with his son, Ronan Day-Lewis.
Ronan.
Ninja
Turtles Ronan?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So he's a 3-time Oscar winner, and the project is going to be produced by Focus Features and Brad Pitt's production company, Plan B.
Oh.
It quote, explores the intricate relationship between fathers, sons, and brothers, and the dynamics of the familial bonds. Daniel Day-Lewis is going to star opposite Sean Bean, Samantha Morton.
Oh.
Bean.
Bean Man.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean.
Samuel Bottomley, and Sophia Oakley Green.
Samuel Lobotomy?
Bottomley.
Oh.
He's a power Bottomley.
Oh. It's very bottomly of you.
So Day-Lewis is 67 years old and his son is 26, which means he was 46 when he had him, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Math. Let's do the math. 41, I'm sorry. 41. And I checked to see like if his wife was just like a lot younger or something like that, because 41's a little bit old to have a kid, but not necessarily in Hollywood and not for a man.
My dad was 40 when I was born.
Yeah, it's different for the guy because you're just donating the sperm. The woman has to like actually carry it to term. Does a lot more damage to the body.
Guys can just keep shooting loads.
That's right. I heard that like Thomas Jefferson's grandson is still alive.
What?
Because he had Thomas Jefferson had his like oldest child when he was like 80 something.
Grandchild?
His grandchild.
Like not great. Grandchild.
Not great.
Allegedly he's still alive?
I think he is. I saw a picture of him.
Oh, how old is he?
I don't know.
Is it Jimmy Carter? He's like 100.
Thomas, let's see here. Thomas
Jimmy
Jefferson.
Carter is still alive.
Yeah.
Just turned 100. Can't believe that he survived like Nazi Germany and stuff and is present for the Hawk Tua podcast.
Talk Tua,
yeah.
Say what you will about that girl. That's a fantastic way to capitalize on her 15 minutes. Talk Tua.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so stupid.
And yet here we are, trucking away 5 years.
Oh, it's a John Tyler, not Thomas Jefferson. John Tyler, America's 10th president, was born in 1790, and he has a living grandson.
How is that possible?
For those curious about the dates, John Tyler's son, Lyon Gardner Tyler Sr., was born August 1853, when the former president was 63, and then his son, Harrison Ruffin Tyler, was born in November 1928. His father was 75 years when he was birthed. Yeah.
Wait, so this is his
grandson. This is
okay.
John Tyler's grandson.
And who's John Tyler?
He's our 10th president.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's American education for you. I couldn't tell you.
I've never 10th? Who cares about the 10th president?
I know. John Tyler. What a name, though.
We only care about the first.
It's like Ricky Bobby.
The 16th and the newest one.
And the 45th.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, so Daniel Day-Lewis is coming back, and now the earth can heal.
Yeah.
That's it.
I wonder, he's like, please, Dad, please, will you be in my movie?
Well, it's a very stark difference to the, not Shannon Elizabeth, who's from Bedazzled. She was married to Hugh Grant for a while.
Oh, Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley. Remember her son had a sexual thriller that she starred
Oh,
in?
yeah.
Where she was doing a lesbian hardcore love scene.
Yeah.
He wrote and directed it.
Yeah. Her in that scene.
Yeah.
All right, Mom. I mean,
All right, Mom.
scissor her.
Get right up in there. Yeah. What is he? What did they say in American Psych? I don't even want to say that. So anyway,
Don't just stare at it.
yeah, don't stare at it. Eat it. So
Mom.
Yeah. Oh my god, what are we doing? All right, so that's
Mommy?
that's Daniel Day-Lewis coming back to the silver screen. Can't wait.
Yeah, whenever that comes out, I wonder what kind of movie he's making, or she, or they.
Who?
Ronan.
It's exploring the relationship between fathers and sons and brothers. That's the
theme of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it has a name.
A little on the nose.
Oh, it's the name of the movie is called Anemone.
Anemone.
Like a sea anemone.
Anemone.
Yeah, a sea anemone.
Okay. A sea enemy.
I thought that was the production company, but the movie's called Anemone.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Directed by Ronan Day-Lewis and written and co-written by both him and his dad.
Ah, Mr. Day-Lewis.
Yeah, that's right.
You think that's how he is addressed sometimes? Mr. Day-Lewis.
I hope so. That's what I call him. I call him Sir.
Sir Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He's British, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. He's not knighted though.
Oh, yeah. Should be. All right, cool. Tyler? Oh, he's not here. So my news stories, I'm gonna go through some headlines because there was a lot I think that came out this week.
Yeah.
First, Alien Romulus has become the highest grossing horror movie of all time, specifically in IMAX theaters.
All right.
Way to go, Fede.
Cool.
Fede
Yeah.
Alvarez. Good job.
I'm a fan of Fede.
Yeah, Don't Breathe was solid.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Really good.
I wasn't breathing the whole time. It's like going through a tunnel.
It's weird
Or
because
going over a bridge.
it's weird because I'd seen Stephen Lang in a lot of stuff before, but that's the first thing I think of.
Avatar.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Something else.
there was I don't know if there was some Western I'd seen him in recently that was pretty good.
I guess that makes sense. He looks like he'd be in a Western.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein has reportedly wrapped filming. The movie stars Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Is he playing Van Helsing?
I think maybe.
Is Van Helsing in the Frankenstein universe?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's all the same universe.
I guess so, yeah. It looks like Jacob Elordi might be Frankenstein, and Oscar Isaac is Dr. Frankenstein? No, sorry. Jacob Elordi is Frankenstein's monster. Oscar Isaac is Frankenstein. I don't know.
I'll look it up while you go to your next one.
Edgar Wright's Running Man remake, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s, is set to release next November, 2025, November 21st, and starring Glenn Powell in the lead role. I can't remember Schwarzenegger's character's name. And Katie O'Brien also has been added onto that cast. And like,
sick.
After watching Love Lies Bleeding,
yeah,
and obviously the decade that movie takes place, and the role that she plays and how she looks, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, that
she would be in that movie. Honestly, if they were to redo a female, like change the gender, I guess
maybe she is going to be the running woman.
Well, Glenn Powell is the lead role.
Oh, well, maybe there's two of them. Well, there's two of them.
Yeah,
right?
There's two of them.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I mean, she does fit that role as well. And I'm excited because I love Running Man. It is.
I wish I could follow you on that one.
It is such a fun, goofy movie.
The guy with the electricity on him, just like, he's not even intimidating.
Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero.
What does that mean? Plane Zero.
It doesn't mean anything.
Why'd he say it?
It's hilarious. That's why.
I got cast for you. Jacob Elordi is the monster.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Dance is unnamed. Mia Goth is unnamed.
Oh, okay.
Christoph Waltz is Dr. Pretorius. And Ralph Ineson is Professor Kremp.
Kremp?
I've never seen these. Oh, David Bradley's in it too, playing Blind Man.
I'm a blind man. I can't see.
What's my motivation? Well, you can't see shit.
Got it.
Done.
Say no more. So those are some quick headlines, and then an update sort of on the Joaquin Phoenix, Todd Haynes movie that he bailed out of like days before filming.
Yeah.
And essentially scrapped the entire movie. That's not being made anymore. And this is from the producer Christine Vachon, Vacan? I don't know. Basically, she says that everything that you guys know is what we know about the whole thing.
Really?
And Joaquin Phoenix, I think we played the clip of Joaquin Phoenix addressing or kind of addressing somebody asked at a press conference.
I think it was at Cannes.
Yeah.
They asked him why he did it, and he just said it's not his place to say.
It's not my place to say.
I can't say it
because I'm the only one here from that side, and so you'd only be hearing my side, and they wouldn't be able to say their side of it. And we talked about this earlier and how he walked out of this movie, that he was also helping on the screenplay, helping write it, and pushing Todd Haynes to make it more sexual, make it more this, and it was going to be like an NC-17 movie. And then days before, he's like, it's a little too much for me, I think.
What's funny is the James McAvoy says that Joaquin Phoenix was set to play a part in Split.
Yeah. And
he pulled out 2 weeks before as well.
Was he supposed to be James McAvoy's?
I don't know. I don't think he could. He's not buff enough. McAvoy is young and spry, and when he goes beast mode.
He was the beast, right?
Yeah.
He looks fucking hulking in that.
He's crazy. He's crazy in that.
Speak No Evil?
Yeah, Speak No Evil.
Remake.
I'm actually looking forward to that because the first one was bleak and depressing.
The end,
But this, the whole thing is just everyone. You're like, why are they doing that? Just leave. Just say, get out of there.
Yeah.
Don't go back for the rabbit. And then the new one kind of seems like it's more of a popcorn movie.
Well, they did the Hollywood ending.
Oh, do you know?
I don't know what the ending is. I just heard that's what they did.
Okay. Well, I think the whole thing feels
they don't go back.
They go back and kill him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems more like a popcorn movie. Like there's going to be the uncomfortable stuff, but it's more thrilling and actiony. Where the other one is just somber and depressing the whole time.
I feel like it'd be like if they were to do a Hollywood version of Funny Games that was more accessible for general audiences and wasn't so depressing.
I like Funny Games way more than the original Speak No Evil, though.
Yeah.
Funny Games is fucking fantastic, both versions, which are exactly the same.
But yeah. So yeah, the production was set to begin in Guadalajara, where sets were constructed, and local crew members are allegedly still owed money after this production was canceled. And from the producer, she says, "We as a cultural community lost an opportunity to have another movie by Todd Haynes. That is just criminal." Because he just did December. Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When asked what Haynes will work on next, producer added, "There's a big question mark above his head because I'm not sure if he knows either." And she mentioned that he is 62. He's not old, but there's a finite number of films that he will be able to do in his lifetime. I consider him one of the most extraordinary film artists of his generation. The idea that his time was wasted and that a movie is not a result of those years of working closely with Joaquin, that is a tragedy to me, and that I can't get over.
They're just not going to make the movie?
Yeah.
What?
They're just not doing it.
That's like turning the car around and ruining the vacation just because the kids are being noisy in the backseat.
IndieWire sources said financing was based on Phoenix's casting and that the feature would most likely be an NC-17 rated film due to its graphic sexual content. And then the Haynes told IndieWire that Phoenix was pushing me further and going, "No, let's go further," when writing the graphic sex scenes. And what were these scenes that they were like, yeah, let's do this?
You got up close on the frenium.
It's like, did you see a Team America? That.
Team America.
With two dudes. The whole experience was prompted by Joaquin. It was prompted by his daring, his desire to push through barriers and to really get into the uncomfortable places about this relationship. And yet it felt like a very organic process. And then it's Phoenix's quote when he was promoting Joker. "If I do explain why I left, I'll just be sharing my opinion from my perspective, and the other creatives aren't here to say their piece. And it just doesn't feel like that would be right. I'm not sure how that would be helpful. I don't think I will answer that question." So yeah. So
that's crazy. He's going to be sued for sure.
Happening. Meanwhile, Joker 2 has been released.
Folia 2.
Folia 2. Like Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah.
To mostly seemingly negative criticism. It's got a lower cinema score than Madam Web, I think.
Yeah, it is.
For a sequel that it was like the first rated R movie to get $1 billion or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And then to follow it up with this, and then there's like so many different theories about like this movie was made to tarnish the legacy of the first one,
Purposely fail.
and it's like, so you made a bad movie on purpose, or did you make a movie that you think is supposed to be above everybody's intelligence level or something? Like, was that the intention?
So here's kind of one of the biggest takeaways, the consensus that I've seen thrown about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first Matrix movie was an unabashed classic banger. Like, it's really hard to argue that that's not a good movie.
Yeah.
It's got amazing shot composition and cinematography. The story is compelling. It's self-contained. You can end it right there.
Yeah.
The second and third, and then I'll take the fourth one out of it, but the second and third ones just feel like almost like a, not quite straight to TV, but when you're looking at how the quality of the original Matrix to Reloaded and Revolutions, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Reloaded and Revolutions. The drop off in quality is huge. And a lot of people say that that's because the Wachowskis stole a lot of the inspiration and actual physical set composite, or like shot composition, set pieces and ideas and characters from multiple really well-known like anime sources.
Makes sense.
So they'll take like a single frame or a single like panel from a comic book, and then they'll frame a scene about that. And a lot of it, even like I have no mouth, but I must scream. It's a short story. And it's like,
oh, really?
That plus there's an actual image of somebody's mouth fusing shut as they're in an interrogation room. And it's like, there's a lot of like stuff they pulled from. So it kind of like they already had the proof of concept in other people's work, and they made this amazing movie with it.
Yeah.
People are saying that's how Joker was. Todd Phillips basically just ripped off Scorsese. They mashed up Taxi Driver and King of Comedy and had this fantastic movie that people love because the vibe is real similar, and it's a notable character. Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor, and they ran out of steam, and now they have this. They're trying to do something different, and he's trying to do something original, and it's Todd Phillips versus Scorsese. You know, there's no homage being paid. It's like his own thing.
The guy did The Hangover.
Yeah. So one of my favorite reviews that I've read posted around a bunch, it says, this is like Joker 2, Folly I'll Do. This is like when one mediocre kid somehow gets 100 on a test, but everyone knew it was just because he copied the actual smart kid. Then the smart kid changed seats, so he went down to a 0.5% on the next test because he couldn't rip off anyone anymore. All this to say, this was fucking trash. That's the one of the highest rated reviews on Letterboxd.
Can it be that bad? And like, no one will dive deeper into why it's bad.
Apparently the music's not good. The music doesn't compel any of the story forward. It's just there for no reason. The singing is terrible, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm still going to go see it.
Yeah.
But all I know is this: Jack doesn't like it, or Jack loves it. I mean,
And what does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know, Jack. What do you think? If it's a good movie, Jack hates it.
I'm busting Jack's balls. But
I feel like that's more of a Tyler thing. If it's a good movie, he hates it.
I don't know about that. Maybe sometimes.
I read his Tiptoes review. It doesn't really. It's not consistent.
No, it's fine. So yeah,
but yeah, Joker 2.
That's getting trashed, and so is
Megalopolis.
Yeah.
And I feel like Megalopolis is more of a mixed bag of reviews of like, this is garbage, or versus like, this is a cinematic experience you have to have.
Yeah.
And from one of the quote unquote great directors who did movies like Jack.
Yeah.
That masterpiece.
Rumblefish.
Yeah. And that'd be so funny if that was in the trailer from the director of Jack.
Yeah.
That would be so funny. And this is like a self-funded movie, even though he's kind of a sketchy person, IRL. And during the making of this movie,
I like what's happening after the movie's out and just the amount of discourse is there.
It's insane that it's out.
Yeah.
The fact that it has been in financial production hell for so long. We've talked about it many times on the.
No one wanted to distribute it.
Yeah. And like, it was premiered, no one wanted to pick it up, and then finally got distribution, and now it's out for anybody to go watch.
And Francis Coppola himself did a Ask Me Anything on Twitter. He said, "Ask me anything in the comments."
Yeah.
And
he's manning the Twitter.
Yeah,
for the Megalopolis.
I don't know if like the entire Twitter account is from him, but he definitely logs in and he says specifically, "This is Francis. I'm answering questions. Ask me what questions you have." And the questions are like, Aubrey Plaza's character's name is Wow Platinum.
Okay,
that's her character's name. And someone asked, Mr. Coppola, why? What was your inspiration from that crazy name, Wow Platinum? And he said, I met a fan who told me how beautiful her grandmother was, and she sent me an old portrait of her from like the early 1900s. And when I saw it, I said, "Wow,
Platinum."
It's like, it's as simple as that.
I said, "Wow."
Yeah. Why'd you put the bow and arrow? What was the inspiration behind the bow and arrow scene?
No, I thought it would be surprising.
Surprise the person with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. It's really that simple. I don't know. Wait, what are you guys not getting? I thought it was fun. This is his actual response. The question was, what was the inspiration behind the scene with the bow and arrow? And his response, I thought it was funny, surprising them with a hidden arrow that way.
There you go.
Simple as that, Jack. Simple Jack.
Well, it's like when when you're in English class in high school and they're trying to like get you to read into what the hidden message is behind the author. And you're extrapolating all this, oh yeah, those curtains were blue. It was like a symbol of rebirth or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you talk to the actual author and they're like, oh, were the curtains blue? I don't remember.
Oh. I mean, my curtains were blue and it was right in front of me.
I was writing in my den and the curtains are blue. So it's like, it can be that easy.
It's like those like classes, like college classes where the professor asks a question like, what is a book? And then someone responds with like, a book is life. A book is this. And they answer philosophically. Mm-hmm. And then the professor goes, I was looking for it is a commodity. But yeah, I'm excited to go see these movies. I'm not excited for the runtime of Megalopolis.
Yeah.
But, and what I might experience that might make it feel longer.
I don't know. Oh, the interactive?
I mean,
that ain't happening anywhere near us.
I'm curious about that.
No
and
way.
How does that play in a movie that doesn't do that? Is that just like a cut out of that version of the movie? I don't know. After watching Tiptoes, which was only like an hour and 40 minutes, I was like, I felt like that movie was over many times.
Yeah.
And then it just kept on going. But yeah, it's the flop era of movies is back with movies this big.
Yeah,
like Joker 2 and Megalopolis. Those are only two.
That's it.
Big movies that have
big budget flops. Imagine
one of
the highest grossing comic book movies of all time, the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time at the time when it was released. 4 years later, the sequel comes out with the same cast, with the A-list celebrity added to it, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
With the same director, and the crowds are fucking empty.
I know. No one's going to go
tweeting
see
out pictures of empty theaters at their screenings.
I know.
On opening weekend.
It makes me excited to go see it because nobody will be there.
I know. Me too. It's great. We could go together. We could sit across completely opposite sides of the theater.
I know. See whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Gab and Chatter. Let's get on to some stream picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Stream picks, movies that we watched at home on our streaming services that we will either recommend or not recommend that you watch. Pete.
All right, so I have a first off, since Tyler's not here, I'm going to read. He actually, so Tyler came through. Okay, we have a review for Tiptoes, which we'll read later. And Joseph Bridges in the chat pointed that out. He did the assignment. He just couldn't be here today.
Yes.
But he also has a review for his punishment movie,
Yes.
American Mary.
His punishment was because he was late.
Because he was late to class yesterday or last week. And didn't tell us until it's like the last second. Okay, so American Mary. This is a review from Tyler from 2012. He gave it 2.5 stars with a heart. This film presents very intriguing ideas. Med student who is presumably at the top of her class delves into the world of illegal surgery and body modifications. However, the execution was botched. The main actor
like surgery.
Yeah.
Good job, Tyler.
The main actor did very well in the first half, but as she descends into her crazy self, it felt forced to get to the finish line. It's weird that she was the only good performance, but the story just falls apart really quickly. They squandered a great premise, and Crimes Against the Future perfected the underground surgery thing. I would grade this movie a C+, end of report. 2.5 stars with a heart.
He said I would?
Yep. I would grade this movie a C+, end of report. I'm reading verbatim.
I would grade this movie a C+.
But what did you actually grade? I'm just kidding. Just fucking with you, Tyler. So yeah, there it was. I don't remember who put the American Mary on the wheel, but
yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, and we don't have names next to them. Maybe next time we do punishments, we start adding.
The only thing that we have that has a name associated with it is
JB's his whole list
as Bridge Boy.
Yeah, Bridge Boy. Okay, cool. So on to my streaming picks. I'm going worst to first this time.
All right.
First up. This is streaming for free on Hoopla if you have a library card. This is called The Thicket, a new movie from 2024. It was a movie that I can't remember where I got recommended this, but I saw it pop up and I'm like, I don't know anything about this movie. It's starring Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis, Lavon Thurman Hawke, which is Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's son.
Oh, not
Maya Hawke.
Another child.
Yes. Did you see Blink Twice?
No.
Okay. So he's in Blink Twice as well in a really small part. Leslie Grace, Gabenga Akinagbe, Esme Creed Miles, Macon Blair for a small part, James Hetfield from Metallica.
What the fuck?
Yeah, from Metallica. And David Midthunder, who's Amber Midthunder's father, star of Prey.
Someone's last name was Creed Miles?
Yeah, hyphen. Esme Creed Miles.
Creed?
Yeah.
Like the band?
Like the band.
And Miles, like the Spider-Man?
Miles. Like kilometers, but miles.
Oh, yeah, like Spider-Man. Miles Morales.
I thought it was Miles with a Y.
Is it? No, it's not.
I don't know. I don't
Miles?
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, this is streaming on Hoopla. I think you can actually still see it in certain theaters for free, or it was streaming on Hoopla for free. But you can also rent it on Apple TV, Amazon, and whatnot for like $10. And it's a Western. It's a period piece. So Peter Dinklage plays a sort of a bounty hunter. Yeah, okay. Dinklage again. So that synopsis says, West Texas, a boy who, after his sister is kidnapped by a violent killer known only as Cutthroat Bill, enlists a fierce bounty hunter named Reginald Jones, who becomes the leader of the group of outcasts searching for the stolen girl. So it's a brother and sister. They're late teens, maybe something like that. And they're traveling across the country to go to their new land. Their father and mother died in a plague or something. And they're being taken to their birthright, their plot of land on a different part of the country by their uncle. And on their way, Juliette Lewis plays this basically, what's her name? From The Hateful Eight, Jennifer Jason Leigh's character.
Oh, okay.
She's basically a version of that, but not nearly as good. Jennifer Jason Leigh does a great scumbag piece of shit outlaw. And this Juliette Lewis is putting on a real kind of strange gravelly voice that doesn't quite work.
Yeah,
but she calls herself Cutthroat Bill. She's got her throat slashed end to end, so she's got this huge scar across her nose.
Like Lawless.
Yeah, pretty much. Or what's it called? Aldo the Apache from Inglourious Bastards. So I can understand the voice. It's a choice. I don't think it quite works really well. But she kidnaps the daughter, or sister, whatever you want to call her, and her band of miscreants, they're taking her to the homeland, and they're going to claim their plot of land. She's got the papers with her saying that we own this land, and they're going to essentially take the land from her because it's worth a ton of money. And it's Dinklage and his little band of merry men and Ethan Hawke's son, and they go across the country to basically chase them down. There's some interesting shots in this movie. The shot composition's pretty good for the most part, but I can't really super strongly recommend this. It's definitely a missable movie.
Okay.
It's generous 3 stars, and that's basically because of the actual cinematography. So I think that the production value is good, the costume's great. There's some interesting camera work choices there, but the script just really isn't good. When people die in the movie, it's super unceremonious and just comes and goes, and you're like, is that person actually dead or is that a fake? And then you move on and you just never see him again. You're like, I like that guy. What the heck? You didn't get any, no pomp and circumstance, no weight to the death or whatever. So I don't know. It was based off of a book, and I don't know. Maybe they were just being true to the source material, but it just didn't feel super cinematic to me. So that's a Thicket from 2024. My next up is a classic that's 75 years old as of this month. And this is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad streaming on Disney+.
Oh, Mr. Toad.
I was watching this, and I know I've seen this a few times from my childhood. Hey, Bruce is in the chat. Hey, Bruce. What's up, buddy?
Welcome.
Gang's all here. We got Angry Otter, Big Red Dal, Bruce, and Joseph Bridges in the chat. So I've watched The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad a million times when I was a kid. I don't remember the format of it, but it's basically 2 stories. The Adventures of Mr. Toad and The Adventures of Ichabod Crane. 2 separate stories.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, it's basically Sleepy Hollow. And I watched it. I put it on because I was like, ooh, I want to get in the Halloween spirit. I want to watch the original Sleepy Hollow cartoon, whatever. And the first half of this thing is just Mr. Toad, the story of Mr. Toad and his friends. And I'm watching it. I'm like, get to the Sleepy Hollow. What's happening? So I fast forwarded through that. And I'm like, okay, I have enough of Mr. Toad. And the second half is Ichabod. And the worst part about this is the voice acting, because it's everybody sounds like Bing Crosby.
Oh.
They got this tall, goofy bastard who's Ichabod, and his voice sounds exactly like the narrator, who is this very smooth, dulcet tones of a Bing Crosby sounding guy. Very 1940s, because this is 1949 when this came out. And, but man, when it gets to the Headless Horseman and they're in the spooky woods and the horseman is chasing after him, yeah, that's dynamite shit. That's some really great animation there. Terrifying. The cape waving in the wind as he's running by. It's so good. So yeah, Angry Otter says the Ichabod Crane portion's awesome if you're 8 years old. Come on.
At heart.
Maybe at heart. Yeah, that's right. So anyways, it's worth a watch. It's only an hour long for the whole thing. If you skip through the Toad stuff, you're getting a 30-minute short, basically, of Ichabod Crane.
So the Toad stuff isn't good?
It's all right. Is
even
it
more wild? Is
no,
it crazy?
It's not. No, it's I skipped through it.
Oh, okay.
I watched 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, where's Ichabod?
Because the ride in Disneyland is fucking insane.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You go to hell on that ride.
Maybe I shouldn't have skipped that. I don't think it's all that. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe someone can comment on the first half, because I skipped the first half. So that's streaming on Disney+. Let me see if it's streaming anywhere else. I don't think that's probably the only place, I imagine. Usually a lot of stuff, if it's on Disney, it's on Hulu as well. Okay, next up, Salem's Lot from 2024, streaming on HBO Max right now.
The remake.
Yes, it's a remake.
Have you seen the original?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Me either.
There's original from the 70s, and then there's a 2003 version. It's a 2-part, hour and a half each part. Like the It series.
Hour and a half each
Yeah.
part?
Each part.
Like a TV
it's like It, two movies, And that one, let's see. I know
there's
Rob Lowe.
Is that Return to Salem's Lot? There's a Return to Salem's Lot movie.
I don't think that's it. Let's see here. Salem's Lot. Let's look at all the versions of it.
The miniseries with Rob Lowe is great, says Angry Otter.
Yeah, 2004 miniseries, and it's not Return. It's just called Salem's Lot.
Oh, okay.
Starring Rob Lowe and Andrew Brower, who plays Lieutenant Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who died a couple years back.
Yeah.
Great guy. Love him. And Donald Sutherland's in it. Samantha Mathis is in it. Rutger Hauer is in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Stacked cast. But that's a 2004 version. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 2024 version.
It just came out.
And it's pretty good. It's fine. It's undeniably a TV movie, though.
It's a vampire story, right?
Yeah, it's a vampire story. And it's getting really bad reviews.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like a movie.
That's what I got from the trailer of it.
Yeah, it looks
Looks like a TV show.
Yeah, it looks like a TV show. It's a lot of like green screen and kind of that kind of.
Well, they're paying homage.
Yeah.
To the 70s effects.
So, you know how Dr. Sleep, there's some scenes in it that really have that super, super soft edges and super.
The Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, the Mike Flanagan
softness.
Look.
Yeah.
It's like, so if you take a very cinematic movie, like something like a Denis Villeneuve modern movie, and then you take a Mike Flanagan movie, and then you go one step down, you get Salem's Lot.
Okay.
Because it's even more soft edge. It's even more rounded corners. It really is like a TV movie. So if you can get past that, it's fine. And for the most part, the acting was pretty good. There's a couple of characters that are definitely phoning it in, and like one child actor who before he turns to a vampire is not good.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of like standout performances that I really liked. My review says it's an undeniable TV movie sheen to it, but there's no shortage of creative and inspired shots. The vampires are actually creepy. You could do a whole hell of a lot worse. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Looking back at it now, it's probably closer to like 3, like a low 3. But it's fun. If you like vampires, it's great to get more vampire stuff. And the head vampire looks like the Nosferatu Max Schreck style with the white head and the long fingernails and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that. So that's from 2024. It's streaming on HBO Max. My next up would probably be my number 1 of the week, but I have a surprising new release that I'll talk about next. And this was one that I didn't expect a whole lot from 1999, starring Mel Gibson. This is Payback. You ever seen this one?
I've heard of it.
Oh man, this is fun. This is a really fun movie. Streaming on Amazon Prime, Hoopla, Peacock, Pluto, Roku, Tubi, and VIX.
VIX?
VIX, that's a new one.
Like ice cream?
VIX.
Or VIX like the Vapor Rub?
Yeah, like the Vapor Rub. VIX is what it is. So Payback is starring Mel Gibson, and I'll read the synopsis here. It says, with friends like these, who needs enemies? That's the question that bad guy Porter is left asking after his wife and partner steal his heist money and leave him for dead. Or so they think. 5 months and an endless reservoir of bitterness later, Porter's partners and the crooked cops on his tail learn how bad payback can be.
Oh.
So this is starring Mel Gibson, Greg Henry, Maria Bello, David Paymer, Bill Duke, John Glover, William Devane, Lucy Liu, Chris Christopherson, Jack Connolly, and Mark Alpha.
Lucy Liu?
Lucy Liu's in this, and she plays a dominatrix. She is scantily clad the entire movie.
Oh.
This is probably the hottest she's ever been, I've seen in a movie. And this is probably the coolest that Mel Gibson's ever been.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it rivals, it's a different character than his character from Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon.
Is it Martin Riggs?
I think so.
I guess I just know him as Riggs.
Yeah.
I don't know his first name.
Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah.
So he's like more goofy and charming and charismatic in Lethal Weapon, and also like unhinged. But in Payback, he's just super fucking cool. He's like got his wits about him. He's very well prepared, and he's on this vendetta mission to get what's owed to him. And if you're going on a mission in a movie, Joseph, and you see the main guy, and he's a bad guy, but he's the hero bad guy, right? He's like our protagonist. Okay. So he's like a crook, and he got double crossed by one of his other crook friends, and they stole their money. He's going to go risk his life and risk the lives of loved ones that he has to use as leverage to get to these criminals and the higher ups in the organization, this huge New York syndicate, to get his money back. He's going to kill countless people, probably a dozen people in this throughout the course of this.
Okay.
And this is played for realism for the most part. It's not like a John Wick fantastical shoot 'em up, there's a billion deaths. It's like,
is it like a comedy?
It's a clever
kind of
comedy drama. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see what the genres say.
It's like a little more serious.
Drama, crime, action. It is more serious, but there's some levity to it.
Okay.
So what kind of money do you think he's going after? How much?
That his wife
owed to him,
and his wife would leave him for dead for?
Yeah, they killed him over his split of the take and killed him and took the money. Now he's coming back to get that money. How much do you think?
Shit, it'd have to be, I don't know, like
in a movie,
$5 million?
Yeah, something like that. It's like a big number, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to risk it all for that. It's 70,000.
70,000.
He's going after him for 70,000.
A down payment on a house?
Yeah. and the funny thing is the whole take was it was like 70,000 wrapped up with some other money and ended up being 130.
Oh, okay.
He's not owed 130, he's owed 70. That's what was taken from him. But everybody who's like, all right, how much is it going to take to get you off our tail? And he's like, I just need what's owed to me, 70,000. He goes, oh, you mean there's 130 right here? Fine, it's yours. And he's like, it's 70,000. Just give me my 70,000 and I'll disappear. And they're like, you're doing all this for 70? My suits cost more than that. You must be one crazy son of a bitch. And he's like, just pay me the 70,000, then I'll go away. And he's like, you can suck my dick, and he kills the guy, And you're like, just pay him. Everybody's talking about how low the amount is.
That's like,
but they won't pay him.
It's like Matt Damon's character in the new with Casey Affleck.
Instigators.
Like he just wants that specific amount of money.
Yeah.
No more, no less.
Angry Otter says, Payback's all right, but the next 3 days is better. I don't know anything about that. Can you tell us more about that in the chat?
I've heard about
Otter. I don't know. I've never heard of that. So anyways, this is a super fun movie. I really, really, really had a good time with this. And it's like every scene, you know how in like Ocean's 11, they're so clever. They're like always ahead of the game.
Oh, like in like not the dialogue, but their thinking.
They're thinking, yeah,
Okay.
and like their plan is already laid out, and once people figure out what they're doing, they're already like 3 steps ahead, and they're already out of Vegas.
Yeah,
and you're like, wow, that was really good. Every scene is like this, and every little scene is just like a little vignette into what he has to do to get his $70,000 back.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really fun movie. I thought it was a great time.
Was that streaming?
Everywhere.
Oh, you said Prime, I think?
Let me see here. I'll double check. Yeah, Prime, Hoopla, Peacock, Pluto, Roku, Tubi, and VIX.
Okay.
Bruce in the chat says, Payback is a later version of a 60s flick called Point Blank, I think. Cool.
Point Blank?
Point
I
Blank.
get that mixed up with Point Break.
Yeah, Point Blank was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is Payback from 1999. And then my number one recommendation for the week is a new Netflix movie called It's What's Inside.
Mm-hmm.
And this is bodies for people that like Primer or vice versa.
For people that like Primer.
Yeah. By the end of this, I'm
like a whodunit type of thing?
Kind of. It's a mystery unraveling.
I saw the trailer for it.
And I don't know what the trailer says. What does the trailer say? You kind of
seems like there's body swapping going on.
Yeah, that's all that I'll really, well, if the trailer says
like
that.
Possessor or something.
Yeah. So these friends all get together. There's 8 friends. They get together in this mansion, just like Bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing a game, just like that movie.
Yeah.
And they're all close frenemies. Like some of
okay.
Like some of them are actually friends and the other ones are very two-faced, and they're getting back together because one of the friends in the group is getting married the next day. And they're getting married at his rich mom. She's a famous artist, and the house was given to him when she died like 9 years ago. So he's still living in this crazy house with all these wild, elaborate art pieces, and all the rooms have these crazy conceptual designs to them, which makes for a really fun set. They're walking through the house, and like one hallway might be the entire ceiling is covered in foil, like crushed up foil, like a river.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads you down into a room that is a circular room full of mirrors. And there's like a bench to sit on in the middle, but it's all mirrors too. So going into that room is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And it's like a very Gothic Victorian sort of house. So, things are falling apart, which leans to some of the, plot development points. And you are basically introduced to these 8 characters, and they all have very distinct personalities. So at some point, they play a game and they physically swap their minds into each other's bodies.
Right.
That's the whole concept. I went into it knowing nothing, so that was kind of a surprise. But if the trailer says it, I'll at least talk about that now because it makes it a lot easier to talk about the movie. There's really great editing, some flashback storytelling where they have like static images, like sepia static images of this party, and 3 or 4 people are talking over what happened at the party, which drove 2 of the friends apart. And the different versions of the story, which have evolved over the last like 8 years or whatever, are being constantly edited as they're saying it. And it's like very, very fast cuts, very, very quick. Mm-hmm. And the effect is really good. The writer-director's name is Greg Jardin or Jardin. It's Jardin. I don't know if that's the Spanish pronunciation, which is Jardin, which is like for garden, or if it's Jardin. But he wrote and directed it and also edited it and did a lot of the special effects.
Wow.
So the vision is very singular. Like I can imagine as he's writing it, he's like, it's got to look just like this, and it's got to have this cut and this edit. And when one of the brains or minds of somebody is in another body, the game is that they have to guess who's in whose body.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So they take Polaroids of all 8 of them and they write the name of the actual person on the Polaroid. It's like, this is Ruben, and this is Jennifer, and this is whoever. And as you're reacting, you go, someone's like, oh, a spider. And the person who's scared of spiders jumps up, but they're in a different body. And they're like, oh,
and they have that person's voice, I assume.
They have the voices and the bodies all the same.
Yeah.
It's just the mind.
Okay.
And so they're like, oh, that's Sylvia. Sylvia's scared of spiders. So they take the picture of Sylvia and they pin it to the person's chest. But it's the body of Jennifer.
Oh, interesting.
So as an audience member, you get to see who's actually in the body because the Polaroid is pinned to their chest.
So all these actors are acting like each other's characters.
Yes. And it's very impressive.
Yeah. It looked like a wild concept.
It's fucking, and the thing is, if you're making a movie this complicated, I mean, it would be hard enough with like 5 or 6 characters all swapping, but there's 8 of them. Yeah. And there's technically more than just that because there's other characters that are talked about but are never on screen. Like you never see the wife of the wedding that's going to be the next day. You know, there's one of the guy's sisters they talk about. This is inciting incident. So there's like a lot of moving pieces, and there's only like 1 or 2 times that I thought, I can't tell who that person is. The actor who's acting like the other actor, not quite selling it enough to me. So I was kind of questioning who was in the body, but I think that's the point.
Yeah.
So as the story gets further and further in, and it gets way more convoluted, and then they start lying about who's in the bodies. So they're like, oh, that must be Justin. And then Justin's in someone else's body. And everyone's like, oh, you're Justin. They pin Justin's picture to this shirt. And he's like, I'm Justin. Well, who the fuck is that then? Is there of my mind in 2 bodies? Or is somebody else pretending to be me in this guy's body? So you know how Primer gets very convoluted in that sense where you're like, what timeline are we in?
Yeah.
And how far back are we going? And who's got the machine running the longest?
Yeah.
All those questions that happen as Primer goes on are similar to this. And it's done so well. And the filmmakers have a choice to either slow down and make it easy for the audience to understand or just go, and they just go. So there's not a whole lot of hand-holding. You know, it tells you everything you need to know in the moment. And one of the cool editing kind of recurring editing techniques that you see is they have the regular lighting, and then at some point 2 characters will be talking to each other, and you're like, who's in that body again? And then all the back lighting goes black, and the front lighting of the characters go bright red, and it goes to their actual people inside. And you can hear like a double voice of the 2 characters talking over each other.
Yeah, they put that in the trailer too.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And then as the story goes on, it'll cut and 2 people are talking that you think are these 2 people. And then it shows the red lighting and you're like, oh, that guy's not who he said he was.
Interesting.
He's lying to her and you didn't know that up until that point or whatever. So this is one that like as soon as it ended, I was like, I want to start this over again.
So is there like a nefarious sort of plot in there?
One of the characters has a vendetta because that party that happened, you know, somebody was kicked out of school and someone was put in a mental institution and they haven't seen each other in 8 years.
So there's a little bit more at stake.
Than
just them freaking out over who they are.
Yeah. So this whole genre of like one night in a house playing a game is pretty fun because Bodies does it. It's What's Inside, this movie does it. There's a small movie that came out a while ago called Gatlop, a hell of a game. I talked about it really early on in the show. It was a screener we got, and that was really fun.
Ready or Not.
Ready or Not is another one. I'm trying to think if there's any other good ones.
Your Next, kind of.
Yeah, kind of a little bit like Cat and
More
Mouse.
just a home invasion.
That's a home invasion.
Not a game, but
yeah. There's The Blackening. That's another one. That was actually pretty fun. So yeah, it was a really cool concept, but it's like sci-fi, very funny, hilarious, and the main guy in it, James Morosini, he wrote and directed a movie with Patton Oswalt called I Love My Dad from like last year that was based off of his own life where his dad catfished him to become close to him.
Oh, okay.
And Patton Oswalt plays the guy's dad and he like poses as this girl and is like sexting him and stuff like that, so that he can talk to his son because his son doesn't want to talk to him.
Oh, I see.
And you can imagine it goes off the rails.
Yeah.
And I noticed him when that movie came out, and I'm like, this is a really well-made movie, and it's way more funny than I thought it was going to be. And the acting from James Morosini was really good. And in this movie, he's like a Jim Cummings light. It's like a teenage Jim Cummings or a 20-year-old Jim Cummings.
Okay.
He's really, really funny, and he does that like bumbling, stepping on his own feet thing really, really well. So I can't say enough about this movie. It's streaming on Netflix. It's What's Inside. That's what it's called.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all I got. Oh, and Strange Darling is now available for rent.
Yeah.
I would say everybody should go watch it except for listener Steven, because he watched it and hated it.
Steven?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He says he doesn't like Willa Fitzgerald. So she was already immediately draining on him.
She's the main
girl. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have no bad movies, all 3 stars and up. I'll start from, I guess, the lowest 3-star movie. That would be streaming on, where did I watch it? Prime? Where are you streaming? Hulu. Caught up with Hustlers.
Oh, cool.
J-Lo and, what's her name? The main character. Constance Wu, Julia Stiles, Keke Palmer, Cardi B for a little bit, and Lizzo for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And this is based on a true story about a stripper who is basically just exploiting these rich Wall Street type people, and just getting money out of them, drugging them, and then just so that they could make money in lieu of or because of the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
Which then stopped the rich people from going to the strip clubs.
It affected the strippers the most.
Yeah.
They're the real victims.
They were the ones who suffered the most. And this is kind of like a comedy. I guess like The Big Short is also kind of like a comedy, but it's like it's like drama as well.
Yeah.
And sort of a thriller because of what they're doing and how they're doing it. And Constance Wu plays the main character who becomes a stripper to help pay for, help support her grandma, and because her mom left her when she was a young kid and just left her with her grandma. And so she's been trying to just support her grandma. And the way she found the best way that she could find doing that is through stripping. And she meets J-Lo, who's like this, at the time, very popular dancer in this club. And then she takes Constance Wu's character under her wing and teaches her like moves and how to be a hustler and get the most out of like a performance.
Extract the most money from the guys too.
Yeah. And then eventually that goes down a road of committing illegal activities involving drugging your clients.
And how.
Yeah. And other things. And it's mostly good. It's a pretty good, compelling story, I think. And it was worth my time. It's definitely worth a watch, I think. It didn't leave a huge impact on me, but it was engaging.
I thought J-Lo did dynamite in her performance.
Yeah,
and she still looked fantastic for what?
I know she was almost bearing it all. Almost.
I know she was like 55, I think, when she filmed that too.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. So that's streaming on Hulu. I also caught up with Blue Ruin.
You never seen?
Nope.
Oh, cool.
Jeremy Saulnier's early movie, 2013, starring Macon Blair, right?
Yep.
Macon Blair as the main character, and this is streaming on Tubi and Pluto. And basically a revenge story that stars just like a average dude who knows essentially nothing about how to operate guns or commit crime, basically. And the reason why he's after revenge for this against this one person specifically is because his parents were allegedly killed by this person, and this person has just been released from prison, and now Macon Blair's character is after
gonna go get revenge.
He's gonna get revenge, and he is just kind of clumsily getting his way to that point. And he steals a gun from a store that still has the lock on the trigger, and there's a whole scene of him trying to break the lock.
Does he steal it from that truck outside the bar?
Yeah, he steals the truck, I think, and then the gun is in there.
Yeah, and he can't get the lock off.
And he's like hitting it with a crowbar, breaks the gun.
Yeah. I love how incompetent he is.
And but he fumbles his way through it somehow, and then he eventually does, spoiler alert, and it happens kind of early in the movie, he does achieve his goal in one way, but then he puts the rest of his family at risk, that he's just now becoming close with again after he vanished after the I think guilty verdict, or after the guilty verdict or something like that.
Yeah, it was
because he went to prison.
He went to prison, but not for killing his parents, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, and it's just like a revenge story set sort of in the real world and not like in a John Wick world. Second John Wick reference today. It's not fantastical. It's not over dramatic or anything like that. It's just this guy, this average dude, Macon Blair, future lawyer of J. Robert Oppenheimer. And and he's just out for revenge. And I will say that Saulnier, it's like a wine.
I know.
Saulnier. The tone of this movie and like his newest movie, Rebel Ridge, there's like something about them that make them very similar.
Yeah.
It's like they're not the same plot. It's kind of like a revenge story in Rebel Ridge in a way. Not nearly as like, I guess the act of revenge or the reason for revenge is a lot different. But they just have like this sort of like, it's like it takes place in the South. It's like a Southern look to it. I don't know what it is. They both have a similar tone and look to these movies. And Blue Ruin is a much, I think, lower budget. It was shot on like an old Canon C300, which I think you can pick up for like less than $1,000 now, maybe.
Really?
I think. But because I was watching it, I was like, this looks like it was shot on a T2i. There are some shots in it. I was like, this looks like it was shot on a DSLR.
I think that the Blue Ruin has like a relatable sadness in it, and it feels almost like hyper realistic or a stylized realism,
Yeah.
It just seems very mellow and the low light and a lot of outdoor stuff with like natural lighting.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it, the natural lighting.
Yeah. So that's streaming on Pluto and Tubi. Watch that.
What do you think you'd give that? Stars wise, or
it's like I gave that like a 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like it a little bit more. Pretty damn good.
I mean, Green Room and Rebel Ridge are just so much more entertaining.
That's 100% accurate. Green Room is like fucking nonstop.
The Blue Room, I mean, it's still really good.
Yeah.
I watched Signs for the first time in a long time.
Oh,
I've seen it before.
Jesus, really?
I've seen Scary Movie 3 more than I've seen Signs, though.
No description.
Directed by, obviously, M. Night Shyamalan, starring Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, a young Rory Culkin, and an even younger Abigail Breslin before Little Miss Sunshine.
Gibson and Phoenix are getting a lot of play on this episode.
I know. And after, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I only remember, most of the movie that I remember is because of Scary Movie 3.
Yeah.
And watching it, there is some ridiculous dialogue in this movie.
Like what?
As with like The Happening, and honestly, it feels like The Happening and Signs are almost of the same quality of movie.
What? No way.
Maybe not. Like Signs is probably like a better movie.
Okay.
But The Happening has very similar tones and character choices, or directing choices, I should say.
Okay.
And in writing choices. Because there's a line in this movie when Joaquin Phoenix is at like some office talking to a general, or is he talking? He's like talking to
like a recruiter,
like
something.
A military guy.
Yeah, he's in a recruiting office,
and he says this line that is so funny to me.
Okay.
Did
you write it down?
I did write it down, but it's gonna take me a second to find it. But
okay.
Dallas, I think rewatched it recently as well, and I like commented on it and was talking about like it feels like the writing, some of the dialogue like that is like bad on purpose. And the line is something like, because Joaquin Phoenix's character is like a former famous minor league baseball who like set a record for like the longest home run.
Yeah.
Something like that. And the military guy's like, hey, you're that guy. Why didn't you didn't go to the pros and make stacks of cash and have beautiful women licking your feet?
What the fuck?
That's the line. That's like almost this. Paraphrasing.
We don't talk about that.
But that's basically the line. And Dallas just said in the chat, when they're running outside to scare the intruders, and they're like bickering of like, what should I say? He's like, you should just curse and yell and just make noises. He's like, curse? I don't want to curse.
Yeah.
And
well, he's a pastor.
And he just, a priest, a former priest.
Whatever.
And he just goes, he just runs outside and he goes, I'm insane with anger.
I love it.
And it's comical. It's very comical. And the entire family of Mel Gibson's family, I feel like they are also aliens. Because the way their dialogue and the way they act, and Rory Culkin's performance and how he sort of commands like his father to do stuff. He's like giving his father facts on aliens. And like there's that scene when he's in their bedroom with both of them, with Abigail Breslin and Rory Culkin, and he has that book. He's like, I got this book, and that about this guy who's talking about the aliens and did a bunch of research on them. And Mel Gibson like says like a kind of like a joke a little bit, and then Rory Culkin just deadpan, just like he's like, I'm not going to show you if you're going to make fun.
I love all the characters in this.
I know it's and the
Andale children,
the wife, the reason and how she dies.
Yeah,
like who comes up with that? Who comes up with that concept and then not expect it to be kind of funny?
It gave us Scary Movie 4 though.
Yeah, it gave us that the let me explain.
I know.
the donut and the hot dog. But yes.
Which way was she split? Hot dog style or hamburger style? Can I have a moment with the lower half?
Is the bottom half available? Yeah.
Also, she got the giant hat that gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and
it's so funny.
And the performances are like sincere. It feels like they are sincere.
What do you think about that dinner scene when he screams at the kids?
Stop crying! Yeah. That's I don't know. There's a level of comedy there, and the same thing with The Happening. There's a moment when Mark Wahlberg and them are in that old lady's house, and
what? No.
Yeah.
I know you're taking my lemon drink.
I know. It's like, what is this interaction?
Yeah, I don't know.
Shyamalan is an interesting man.
It's weird because I've heard him in interviews and whatnot, and he has a very like
very level-headed.
He doesn't use like weird like sayings that no one's ever heard of before.
Yeah,
it's not like he's like English as a second language or something like that, because that's what it almost seems like with some of the clunky dialogue. It's like it was translated from a different language.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't work.
That's why it seems like they're alien. Like the family are also aliens.
Well, they're Shyamalan characters. That's the same thing.
It's an entertaining movie, and I enjoyed it.
I'm an apologist for the movie. I love this one. Still not amazing, but
yeah, the birthday party, like the alien walking by like Sasquatch style, doesn't hit as hard anymore. Not as scary as it once was, but because it's a little dated in the effects.
Yeah,
but there are some moments when like the hand reaches out from under the door.
Yeah, that's
kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Or like when the hand is under the coal chimney.
Yeah,
and grabs Rory Culkin.
Yeah. Realistic depiction of asthma in this movie too.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Not like Goonies.
I fucking hate.
Because I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Signs is streaming on Max and Hulu. I caught up with Linklater's Hitman, streaming on Netflix.
Oh, that's fun.
With Glenn Powell in the lead role. Not what I was expecting in terms of the story. I thought he was the hitman, like an actual hitman.
Yeah.
But I like the way that his character is just kind of like he's a part-time. He works for the police, kind of, but he's also like a philosophy.
He's a tech guy,
professor, and the main guy who goes undercover as the hitman to catch people that hire them to kill whoever they want. Basically, like a sting, like a setup, entrapment, sort of. He goes on suspension, and then he fills in the role of that guy. And the way the story goes was pretty entertaining, I think. Kind of gets himself trapped, and eventually the story turns into like, well, now I'm with somebody who should be in jail.
Yeah.
and then but his coworkers who work for the police don't know that he's actually involved with this person.
He's pretending to be the bad guy in his real life.
Yeah, he's pretending to be the hitman personality with this person. So then she thinks that he is that, but his coworkers don't know that he is seeing this person.
He's canoodling with a suspect or
Yeah.
like something like that. Not a suspect, but
Yeah,
someone from one of the cases.
yeah, who he dissuaded from handing over the money and
Yeah.
going through with the whole thing. Basically losing that suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, it's a pretty entertaining movie. It was funny moments. Glenn Powell had a hand in the screenplay, and I felt like that kind of showed, and because there were some cheesy pie moments in it.
He is cheesy pie.
Yeah, for sure.
I just like the scene with using the notes app to talk.
That was good.
I thought that was really good.
That was good. I like that.
Impressive.
Because he's a smart individual, because he's a teacher, like a professor in a college.
He's a cool professor.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. When did our teacher get hot? That was one of the lines.
I know.
That was pretty cringy. Glenn Powell wrote that one.
I was going to say that was definitely a Powell wrote up.
You know what I think they should say here? His college girls. What? But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, pretty much, kind of like the least Linklater movie.
I agree with that.
Of his Linklater filmography.
It's closer to School of Rock vibe, but with less quality.
Yeah,
like it's just a kind of fun, entertaining movie.
Yeah. So if you're looking for like a before trilogy type of vibe, this is not it at all.
What a range this guy's got, Linklater.
Yeah, Dazed and Confused, School of Rock, other ones.
The before trilogy.
Yeah.
Apollo 11 and a half.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did another movie with Glenn Powell, actually, that's on Netflix, I think, that I just heard about, and I can't remember the name.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah. And Richie Links.
Yeah. Cool.
Hitman on Netflix. I watched Tremors for the first time, actually.
Cool.
That's streaming on Peacock, and that was a fun, campy, kind of silly movie. The practical effects remind me of I don't want to say like Beetlejuice, 'cause that's like stop motion, but
yeah,
I guess more like a Jim Henson sort of worm, if Jim Henson made a worm. And it's just kind of like unexplained. They're
just there.
They're just there in the middle of this desert, attacking these people, and like for some reason they're bloodthirsty for these humans.
Yeah, they're hungry.
I know.
That's why that desert is so empty. It's been all the life has been eaten by the graboids.
I don't know. Why'd they go somewhere else?
Because they live in the sand.
I guess so. They did like a predator thing with like the little mouths.
Yeah,
the little mouths, and then the one. There's only one. Was there only one worm, or was there multiple?
No, because the one got killed at the beginning.
Yes, that's right. They kill one. Yes, Kevin Bacon and that
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Yeah. Fred Ward.
Oh my goodness. Fred Ward. Finn Carter, Michael Gross, Reba McEntire. She's is in the movie and does the ending credit song.
Also, the girl from Jurassic Park in it, little blonde girl.
Oh, is she in it?
She's the one with the pogo stick.
Oh, yeah.
So there's an argument to be made that this is a perfect script. Everything in the first act is paid off with the graboids in the second and third act.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the noisy refrigerator in the store is what ultimately tips them off. The kid with the pogo stick, the car that can't make it, that's broken down.
Yeah.
Every character has a little tiny bit at the beginning, and it introduces them all, and then it's all paid off slowly throughout the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hot Fuzz. It's like
yes, very similar.
Very like Hot Fuzz. Speaking of Strange Darling, I did watch Strange Darling.
Oh, cool.
Last night. And yeah, you can rent this on Prime, I believe.
You can rent it all over the place.
Yeah. And I thought it was pretty good. I will say that it was a little unfulfilling. Yeah. I don't know. There was a lot of hype about it.
I know. I probably overhyped it.
And
sorry.
And I like the way the story's told, kind of all over the place, going back and forth, because in 6 chapters, and then you start in the middle of the story, and then you go to the end, and then you come back for a little bit, and you're just kind of jumping around a lot. Sort of like showing new things, and then like how do they get there, and then they go back. Yeah, like that's how they got there.
Yeah.
So a lot of editing tricks, which I liked, and performances were all good. And I don't want to say it's not predictable, but I guess I should say I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
On how it went, based on like once you start the movie, and then you get like maybe 30 minutes into it, and you see like how a character is acting, which is the other character, and you're like, I feel like it's gonna go this way, and it's more of like the twist or reveal, because there's a couple things.
Yeah.
One is like, because it's about a serial killer, and it's based on like a real serial killer or something. That's what it says.
It's not real life.
It's like it's real.
It's like Fargo, how they say this is based on true events.
Yeah,
but it's not.
And it's more like it's like a reveal or twist from the marketing before you watch the movie, because like you assume one thing about the movie, and then you watch it, and you're like, oh, it's actually this thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so now it's just this, and then another reveal happens later.
Yeah.
And overall, by the end of it, though, I was like, I don't know.
What did we learn?
I was just kind of like, okay. It was just kind of fizzled out, I think.
What do you think about the final shot in the truck versus the final shot in the truck for In a Violent Nature? Because they both have ending shots that are kind of similar.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Really?
When I was watching.
Oh, it's so funny.
In a Violent Nature, because it was just, except minus the rambling, from that woman.
Yeah.
In a Violent Nature. In a Violent Nature. But similar setup, and like the end of the movie is that of Strange Darling.
Yeah.
And it's just like this lingering sort of thing, and then how we get there. I mean, I won't spoil like what is happening in that scene, but I was like, "Who's this person?" And is that, I don't know. It just felt like lackluster. I don't know.
You needed more closure,
I guess. I don't know. I just felt like justice wasn't served.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's like.
Did you not like the end of No Country for Old Men either?
The end of that movie. What, with Josh Brolin being killed? Spoiler alert.
And Anton Chigurh getting away.
I mean, no.
And then Tommy Lee Jones just saying, "This world ain't made for me." Old men, basically.
This is No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I'm old now, and this ain't no country for me, and I'm a man.
I don't know. I liked that more because that felt more like a final. Like a story that came to an end, rather than just like these two characters who barely know each other, and one's just getting trying to get immediate revenge, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It was just like,
yeah, it's fair.
It was just not what I thought it was gonna. It wasn't as thrilling as I thought it was gonna be.
The whole thing for me, I think, going into it not knowing that there was a reveal or anything, I just was like, I've heard this is good. What's his name? Kyle Gallner recommends it. He says everybody should go see it in an opening weekend. I went out and saw it in theaters and wasn't expecting how good it looked on 35 millimeter.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. Giovanni Ribisi
did
his thing. And just kind of being in the theater for the whole experience and being plugged in, I think it was a little bit more impactful once you start hearing the reviews and saying, oh, don't listen to any of the spoilers. Your mind is already rewiring what your expectations are. So
yeah, I mean, I knew there was something.
That's a detriment in itself.
I knew there was something about it that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
I just obviously didn't know what. And like obviously the way that she's dressed in the beginning of the movie, it's like, is this like a game? Is it? Because it seems like like a what is it? World's Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah, Most Dangerous Game. Yeah,
it's like seems like that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And then like the trailer, I saw the trailer once like a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember some aspects about that, and like, but they're like interacting with each other, but like he's like after her. It's weird.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to think about going into it if you've seen marketing for it that kind of don't give anything away, but it just has you already kind of thinking about it. And obviously it's out, so people are already saying, don't look up anything about this movie. So obviously it's already like, oh, what is it about this movie?
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to go in fresh to anything once you've heard that, because you're already like, all right, what's the twist? What's the reveal?
So yeah, but it was good. It was still a really good movie. I just was a little let down by the end of it.
I got a review from Steven on that one.
Okay.
He says, yeah, I saw it coming. 2.5 or 2 stars out of 5. It was beautiful, but the breakfast looked amazing.
Oh yeah, that breakfast. I was like, you're just slathering that thing.
I know. My big takeaway from that on a rewatch, because I did rewatch it this week with Brianna, was I think I use a lot of butter when I cook, but I don't use it as much as that guy. The whole stick.
Or syrup.
Oh my!
Or whipped cream.
Blueberry pie filling.
Yeah.
He says he can't stand the lead. I've seen her in a few things before, but the editing was really sharp. I like that they set him up. Blah 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 blah. Also, so Steven is he's a unabashed drug enthusiast. He's
what does that mean?
He takes shrooms and ketamine and all kinds of goodies.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, it's legal in California, in Canada.
Ketamine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He sent me a picture of like his weed maps delivery.
This is me doing it right now.
Yeah, he's like, because we were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna do this and this and this weekend. I got it all planned out, all these different substances. And I'm like, you can get that shit there? And he's like, yeah, deliver right to my house.
DoorDash it.
It pretty much is like weed maps here. You can get weed delivered in California. But he says ketamine doesn't fuck with you to the state where you're a vegetable for hours.
Oh yeah.
Also, it's the fucking bomb. He says if you fall into a K-hole, but the effects of ketamine only last like a half hour or so.
Oh.
So it can make you zone the fuck out, and it messes with your motor skills.
It doesn't like paralyze you.
Yeah, exactly. He said it's possible he took the hit that was really too big, but it would weaken him for sure. I don't know about that level.
Yeah,
so.
He like anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah. But speaking of movies, like marketing and things that are shown in the world that are for movies that are coming out, I knew nothing about this movie that I saw.
Oh, another one
in theaters, not streaming anywhere as of yet. This is The Wild Robot.
Oh, cool.
And
I
knew nothing about the plot of this movie. I didn't see a trailer for this movie. I just heard that it was pretty good. And so I went last weekend. I saw it in theaters. Did the Cinema XD experience.
Oh, cool.
Never done it before. Never been in that kind of theater.
What's the difference?
It's just a really big screen.
Oh, okay.
And good sound system. Like speakers everywhere.
I wasn't sure if that's 4DX.
4DX is the
chair
like
moving
simulator thing.
Yeah. I saw Godzilla -1 with that.
But The Wild Robot is like by DreamWorks, starring Lupita Nyong'o as the Wild Robot, Pedro Pascal as a fox, Kit Connor as Bright Bill, who's a goose, I believe. Yes. And Bill Nighy, Stephanie Hsu, Mark Hamill, Catherine O'Hara, Ving Rhames, Matt Berry, and a bunch of other people. And the animation of this movie is like so good. It's like Spider-Verse kind of, but in a different style. But it's like in that same realm of like really interesting and cool animation. And the story is so good. And the voice acting is also really good. And if you like movies like WALL-E and The Lorax, then this movie will probably move you as it moved me. And if you have any sort of relationship with your mother or no relationship with your mother, this will hit you. Like it was, I did not expect that from this movie.
Really?
And it's basically a robot wakes up. The movie starts with a robot essentially waking up, and it's like an AI. It's like an AI robot that is designed to be like in people's homes, like an iRobot from iRobot. And it wakes up, and there was like a typhoon or a tsunami or something that crashes like a shipment container of these things.
Mm-hmm.
One of them wakes up, and essentially is looking for its like master. It's looking for someone to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And is running around and sees all these animals, and all the animals are scared of this robot, and it's just like running through the forest, kind of causing mayhem. And it turns on learning mode, and essentially it just like sits down, like hunkers down, and then there's a time lapse that goes by, and it's just like learning all the languages that the animals speak.
Oh, that's cool.
And it so then that kind of explains how you can understand what the animals are saying, because you're looking at it through the robot's perspective. And
I like that device. That's cool.
And then another element of this movie is in the beginning, the robot there's like a chase scene because it runs into a bear, and the bear starts chasing the robot, and then the robot falls down this hill, kind of like Chris Farley in Black Sheep.
Okay.
And then it lands on a tree, which squashes a nest of goose eggs, except one. And then the robot does like a scan. It sees that there's like life in this thing, and then it incubates the egg.
Oh, okay.
And essentially, the story becomes like this robot turns into raising this goose, and the goose thinks that the robot is its mother, and so the goose gets older and mimics the robot and becomes a runt of the litter, and tries to go back into its own species, but is rejected by its own species because it was raised by the quote unquote monster.
Got it.
And all the animals are kind of like afraid of this robot. And it also, a big element of it is that because the robot is like, it can't fly or anything, so the goose doesn't know how to fly. And so that's a big part of the story as well. And there's like a really great sequence of it like learning how to fly. It's a really great shot of like all of these birds, kind of like a nature documentary when you see all those like peacocks flying.
Yeah.
Kind of like launching out of the water.
Yeah.
It was like breathtaking. It was like so majestic.
Wow, cool.
And there's like some lines in this movie that is just so like well, if you're gone, what am I gonna do? It's like so it like tugs at your heartstrings so well, and it is so entertaining. And I can't wait to watch it again. It's really fucking good.
Worth it in the theater?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's all I need to know.
Really, really good. And this is by DreamWorks, and they changed their opening sequence. You know, they've got the kid in the fishing line.
Yeah.
It's still there, but they did like a Marvel thing where they show all the properties that they've produced.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
It's really long too, huh?
Yeah, a little bit longer.
I heard it's like 90 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, and after like Kung Fu Panda 4 flopped, and I think something else they released also kind of did not do very well, but so this is like the first DreamWorks movie, I guess maybe of this year, that has done actually really well. And like, if this isn't up for like at least nominated for something like best animated feature, I will be heartbroken. Directed by Chris Sanders. It also has it's as like triumphant as like How to Train Your Dragon. The music is also like that.
Nice.
It's really, really good. So yeah, that's only in theaters right now. High recommend for that.
Nice. The last catalog entries from DreamWorks Animation is The Bad Guys from 2022, with the wolf and the snake and the shark that are all on a heist. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish from 2022. Ruby Gillman: Teenage Kraken from 2023. Trolls Band Together 2023. Kung Fu Panda 4 this year, and then coming soon is Dog Man.
Oh yeah, that trailer played in front of the
Oh, did?
Wild Robot. Yeah, I heard that DreamWorks laid off a bunch of animators. So after Dog Man, I don't think we'll be getting movies like Last Wish or Wild Robot anymore from DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because they take a long time to make.
They do.
But they don't want to invest that time to do that. But yeah, Wild Robot, highlight of the week.
Cool.
For sure.
And I mentioned Peter Brown last week about how he just when we were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And just two friends that decided to make that together, and now it's this like kind of staple. Everybody knows who the turtles are.
Yeah.
And Wild Robot, he just wrote this book based off of nothing, came up with it from scratch, animated it, had it published, and DreamWorks decided to make it into this fantastic movie, and here we are talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's what a creative mind and just going out and doing it can do for you.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope, that is it.
Okay, so before I close out here, Angry Otter mentioned the next 3 days was something he liked better than Payback. I'm looking at it. It looks like it's on streaming on Peacock right now from 2010, starring Russell Crowe.
Okay.
I don't know anything about this movie, but he said he recommends it, and he also said his favorite body swap movie is Face Off from 1997, which is also streaming on Paramount Plus and Pluto. And then Bruce mentioned Point Blank, which is what Payback was based off of. And I'm reading the synopsis. 100% is what it's based off of.
Oh, okay.
It says, after being double-crossed and left for dead, a mysterious man named Walker single-handedly tries to retrieve the rather inconsequential sum of money that was stolen from him. So yeah, absolutely. And that you gotta pay for that to rent it. And it's like $4 on Apple TV or Amazon Prime from 1967. And it's starring Lee Marvin and Angie Dickinson.
Oh,
classic.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that out there since we had some comments in the chat.
All righty.
Okay, though. So thank you to our cool ass yardities. It's over on Patreon. That is, where the hell are they? Oh, here they are. Is Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or just go to the YouTube page and subscribe. That is if you watch it there, you are helping the podcast. And as of today, we've made our giveaway post to give away some of this stack of media. I'm going to give away 2 a week until we give the entire thing away. We have some grab bag giveaway box sets. There's 3 DVDs in here, unknown, have no idea what they are. And then this big stack of physical media that we're giving away. So go over to the Twitter. It's at
Middle Podcast MCFC.
Yeah, the Twitter's at Podcast MCFC. Or you can follow me on Twitter as well. My Twitter handle is at The Real Pete with 4 E's in the middle, PEEEETE. And on the Facebook page, just go to our Facebook page and you can follow us there, share it on Facebook. You'll get an entry, and then all the subscribers are going to be able to be eligible. So subscribe to the YouTube channel and tell your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the best way you can help us out.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.